कृपया लक्ष द्या. जयपुर वाया कोटा.
कृपया ध्यान आपो अहमदाबाद.
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत.
लखनऊ जंक्शन.
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವವರೇ
Hyderabad Superfast Express পরবর্তী স্টেশন নেতাজি ভবন. कृपया ध्यान दियो.
Well, the old saying is, the sky is the limit. But this guy has no limit. This guy is limitless. And we were waiting for Suryakumar Yadav to win a game for his team, and he has done it today. And boy, he has done it in style. Mumbai has done it in style after restricting Hyderabad to 173. And you say restricting, keeping in mind Wankhede Stadium, keeping in mind that batting lineup. They put Hyderabad into bat. 173 for 8 is what they got. Captain Hardik Pandya got 3 wickets, as did Piyush Chawla. And Mumbai then came out to bat. They lost their top 3 quite cheaply. But then Suryakumar Yadav and Tilak Verma just grabbed his chase by the scruff of its neck and dragged it home, kicking and screaming. Making it sound a lot more criminal than it really was.
No, you go.
It's
Carry
like,
on. No, go.
A little
go.
drama is nice.
Yes,
Just a little drama, as if there wasn't enough with the Mumbai team. I'm Gaurav Kapur. This is Cricbuzz Live. I have Lisa Sthalekar and Shaun Pollock here with me. I'll still not tell you why we're saying that. Maybe I will later. But geez, what a win. I mean, if you are fighting for survival, and you want to you want to win and you want to make a statement, you just cannot do it bigger and bolder than this.
No, I think Mumbai have been waiting for their senior players to really step up, and they were almost looking at Rohit or Sky, Hardik as well. Hardik did it with the ball in the first innings, didn't get an opportunity with the bat, but they needed those senior players to really go, okay, we've got you. You know, we need to win every game. I mean, everything else needs to go to their advantage if they are to qualify. But the main thing is that they controlled what they could do best. And Sky came out and played really nicely. He was literally on one leg for a period of time, wasn't he? Little hop along. Wasn't looking for twos, but still timed the ball nicely and cleared the boundary with ease.
I mean, the thing is, we got to just talk about him, and we will be talking about him because that's just the kind of performance has been. And he, of course, without doubt, is our Omnigel Spray performer of the day. No pain for Mumbai fans. There was pain for him, as Lisa is saying. But in the end, there was just a lot of pain for the bowlers because he got a century and he got it at the strike rate of 200.
Yeah, he might be using the Omnigel a little bit later just to ease the pain. But, yeah, he was sensational. I mean, the moral of the story is if he had stuck around in the last game against KKR, I mean, he got himself to 50 and then he hit that full toss straight up in the air. Normally, that just goes into the third tier of Andre Russell. If he had stuck around, they would have won that game as well. I mean, he's polished when it comes to finishing, understanding the game, knowing what's required. He's sensational. I mean, this is definitely his best format by far. I just hope it's not a proper injury that might jeopardise what he has to do later on next month with regards to the Cricket World Cup. But he was really good, and I think once he's at the crease and once he gets a decent score, invariably it takes all the pressure off Mumbai and their chase.
I just want to bring to your attention, as a fan, what you see from outside. Yes, of course, you see just delicious lip-smacking shots all around the ground. But that body language, that facial expression, when you're looking at him, you keep thinking, and we've seen that meme 100 times, right? When he did this and he goes, many years ago. It's just, you feel that comes out from the screen when you're watching it, when he's on days like this.
Well, and especially when they had lost 3 wickets for 31 runs, right? And it was only a couple of days ago that they struggled to chase a very similar total. So we were sitting there going, oh, here we go again. They're looking a little bit worried. But to be able to come out, have that presence, like you said, and display that against the opposition bowler. So the best way sometimes if you're under fire is attack. And that's what he does well. And he's able to kind of minimise the noise that's going on and go into his little bubble and go, no, it's me versus bowler. I've got this.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why he's has been one of the best T20 players for a long period of time.
That's also the nature of his technique and the nature of his scoring areas is that it doesn't look like it's any stress.
Yeah.
You know, you kind of just use the pace, or you kind of give yourself a little bit of room, use the pace, caress it over cover. And I think because of the areas he can score in, you know, some batters get to the crease and you think, well, if that delivery comes, they'll put it away. Where he's got many more options than most, you know. He can, and it all looks sort of pain-free, stress-free when he gets into position. I think that's what makes him so easy on the eye, and that's why you think, well, how are you going to get him out? Like, well, how's he going to mess this up? Because it just seems to come easy. You know, there's some players that just look and you think, he's got more time than the others. He's one of those.
This guy, and it's such a good point that you say that. How is he going to mess it up? It seems like when he's in form like this, it seems the only way he's going to get out is if he messes it up. It doesn't seem like the bowler ever has any wood over him.
No, there's no ripper of a delivery, you know, swung in and hit the seam and decked away. It's T20 cricket as well. That's why he performs really well at this level, because the movement isn't necessarily there that you see in potentially other formats. But like Polly said, his technique's really good. We were looking at his feet positioning and how he can open up, you know, through the offside, and then there's just this slight shuffle, and literally he's able to go 180 degrees the other way around. So,
You're a bit like Surya. You're breaking things in the stadium.
So it's quite amazing how he's able to do that, and that's just a little shuffle of maybe an inch or so with his guard.
And he plays with the opposition as well, particularly the spinners. I mean, he played with Janssen today, so he hits him in that area and then scoops him. But those two sweep shots back-to-back, I think that's the prime example of his strength, his ability.
Yeah.
He waits for the one that's too straight, and then he gets it nice and fine. And you can almost see the captain go, okay, just move it a little bit finer, and then, I've got you now. And then he waits for the next one that's in front of square. And to be able to have the precision and placement that he does, that puts teams under pressure, puts captains under pressure, because he knows how to get the ball into certain areas. It's not a case of, if you miss, I just hit you out the ground. Even his fours and the balls he chips into different areas, he's very good at doing.
And some of the no-look shots where he just hit it, nobody ran, because you knew that it was going to be a four. And the last point, I think out of the 51 deliveries he played, the only 4 deliveries perhaps that you would say Hyderabad had the edge over him was that, I think, that wicket maiden that your boy, your neighbour, Pat Cummins bowled to him. That was like proper test cricket, morning of first day morning. It was all outside off, swiping and missing.
Yeah, he just honed in on that line and length, didn't he? He goes, I don't need to change it. You know, slightly went away, and then the last ball just kind of nipped it back in. But then, as we know, these white balls don't hold too much swing or seam position for too long, and all of a sudden it played into Sky's hands. So he did well to miss it. So he was in form there.
It is. Because other days you edge those and you're caught behind. But what a fantastic 100 by Suryakumar Yadav. In a winning cause, he'll be super happy. He has carried his team to 2 points. And that's what you expect from your retained players, from your senior players, from your gun players. You expect them to win you a few games. All right, so that was Suryakumar Yadav, our Omni Gel Spray performer of the day. He ensured there was no pain for fans, getting 102 not out in 51 balls, 12 fours and 6 sixes. Well, that was just fantastic. It's just one of those knocks, and when Surya bats, he's just such a delight to watch. But let's not take anything away from young Tilak Verma on the other side, because they needed a partnership. The one thing that still happened, Lisa, and that's one thing, well, it'll worry them, and that's what makes Sky's innings even better. But the original cause for worry, the source for worry, is still there, losing 3 wickets on the power play.
Yeah, power play has not been kind from a batting perspective for Mumbai.
Most number of wickets in this tournament lost by them in the power play.
Yeah, and it's just, you know, we spoke at the top of the show about the fact that Ishan Kishan's still kind of a hit and miss, whereas Rohit, it kind of all rests upon him. Yeah. And still I was surprised Namandir came in earlier as well.
Yeah.
Like
Preserving Sky.
Why?
Preserving. The sky needs preservation.
Oh, okay.
There's too much pollution. Yeah. To preserve the sky.
CO2.
But they've got the stars, and we've been saying this the whole season, haven't we? Yeah. That Mumbai bat really well. A lot of their top 6, 7 have all played international cricket. So, you know, it just hasn't clicked for them for whatever reason. You know, there are a lot of people, no doubt, going through data, analysis, vision, footage, trying to figure it all out. But, maybe it's just up there in the head.
Yeah, one thing that's definitely not working for them is captain of India, not captain of MI, Rohit Sharma. It's been a tale of two halves for him. Started off great, and then it's just tailed off, as you can tell here. Six games and 6 games, a distinct tale of two cities.
And the surprise for me is that the games the two of them have been back in Mumbai.
Yeah.
Normally Mumbai rocks, right? He understands the pitch. He's played so many games there. And, he'll be a little bit disappointed with it. I mean, there's no doubt. He got off to a fiery start. And some people were saying, well, actually, the fact that he's no longer captain, look, he's getting back to his best form. But to have this little blip, he's still got two more games?
Yeah.
2 more games. So hopefully he fires before he has to head off to the World Cup from an Indian perspective. I suppose it's the manner in which way he's getting out, it'll be more concerning for him because, he's one of those guys who, when he's playing it straight down the ground and it doesn't seem like much can go wrong, he's tried to introduce a bit of a fiddly element to the game, get the odd scoop in and try and get it in. But he's popping the odd one up in the air, and that's what he'd be disappointed about. If he gets a good nut or something like that, he won't be too concerned. But it's kind of like a little bit of soft dismissals, if you want to be brutally honest, about the way he's got out lately. And I think that'll be just irking him a touch.
Polly, do you think potentially, at the start of the season, everyone was like, obviously there was so much noise around Mumbai and the change in leadership. So he kind of went, well, you know what, it's done, off I go. And then all of a sudden you're losing. There's more noise. There's more momentum around you potentially. Should you come back to captain? Like all of that outside noise, do you think that's played on him in that sense, even though he hasn't had that leadership role?
Well, that may be it. Also, I'm presuming that over the last few weeks there's been a few conversations about trying to pick the Indian side.
Yeah.
So now that almost that stress of trying to think, well, which is the right balance, which players should we go for? Now all of a sudden you're back into captaincy mode where you're not just free of having to think. And it's coincidence, or is it coincidence that the naming of the side, the going to the press conference, they're having to answer why or not you've picked particular players, that could definitely be having a part. Just got a little bit more stress. But I think at the end of the day, it's got to be down to watching ball hit ball. And I think that maybe he'll be just a little bit disappointed about that because it seemed like he'd sorted it out and he was timing it beautifully at the start.
Well, let's hope that he can get some runs in the next 2 games. You want the captain to be going in a little bit of form to the World Cup. But with Rohit again, I won't worry too much, even if he doesn't get runs in those 2 games, because what matters is when the India games begin, he's in form, and I don't think that it's going to be carrying a form from here because you're crossing so many oceans, time zones, I guess. Can't carry it with you anywhere, into America, quarantine it.
Excess luggage. To carry it all is too much.
Yeah, and I don't think the Indian team can afford it anyway, so it's a problem.
True.
But we're talking about Tilak Verma, the young man, and the partnership that Sky and TV. I like it. It's Sky TV. So the Sky TV partnership.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
I like it.
143 of 79. Bear in mind, as we said, this was coming off the back of 3 wickets falling for 30-odd in the power play. So they also had to kind of hold it together. But you see exactly what Tilak has done here, right? Tilak has realized, and when you're 22 yards away, if we are many, many miles away and we can see Surya in such good form, when you're 22 yards away, you realize, you hear the sound, you watch the bat. He has played his part really well here, hasn't he?
He's ensured that they haven't been able to open up the other end.
Yeah.
And bring in a fresh batter to then, potentially I know there was a fair amount of dew that came in on the second innings, but still the fact that the ball might have done a little bit more, so you're not going to expose your middle order who have been struggling a little bit. So he did the right thing. And this is also off the back of 2 single-digit scores for himself.
Yeah.
He's had some great innings, I think a couple of 60-odds as well, but the last 2 innings have been single digits. So he's like, okay, I need to play my role. And hopefully that conversation was had between him and Sky as well.
Yeah.
Because he can be a dasher just as well. Maybe not yet at the level of Sky, but he's got the ability to. But he just reined it back and went, no, it's about this guy today and it's about us as a partnership.
My point of view on it is I thought he was absolutely rubbish. That last ball of the power play, if he had hit it to the boundary, I could have been on the board for the guessing game, and he let it go through. And
Well
Lisa
left,
ended
I
up
said.
winning.
Well left.
That's why she's giving a big rap. It's just because she got points in the bag.
And
rubbish.
a bullseye that too.
Exactly.
Bullseye of 52 because Tilak Verma shouldered arms in the last
Good
ball.
man. Sometimes you just need to assess the conditions.
That's why you're not getting any good words out of me about Tilak Verma.
But can I tell you what happened though? That sixth over, if Marco Jansen would have bowled it, right?
You would have won.
I would have been in as well.
I would have still lost.
She, of course, called her boy, Pat, neighbor, the neighborhood postman, and said, can you just come back? And
Come on,
he
brother,
just bowled a
sort it
wicket
out. maiden,
so they were going to respect him. So that's what is happening. You don't understand the games within the games and the things that happen behind this curtain. But I will pull it aside and make you see the truth. I've got really worked up, so I'll just calm down a little bit and show you what the Hyderabad bowlers did today. And especially Marco Jansen, that seventh over that he bowled, that kind of... how much pressure did that relieve, Polly, for Mumbai? That kind of just opened the floodgates.
It did. I mean, he's got to look at the rest of the bowling figures. And I mean, I know Scar's got stuck into a couple of the guys at the back end. But at the halfway stage, I think they were all going for 5, maybe 6, 7 and over. And he was going for 15. And it's a bit of a concern from a South African perspective, looking at it now. He had a bit of a difficult end to the World Cup. There was a game against India in Kolkata, and then there was the semi-final in Kolkata where, with the new ball, he didn't quite show the control he could, and he disappeared a little bit. And then we saw sort of evidence of it today. His first delivery missed the left-hander comfortably and went away to the fence. So he hasn't played much cricket. You know, I don't think he's feeling as confident as he could. And you can sometimes see also by the follow-through. There's a couple of times where Scar took him down, and the follow-through stops very quickly, and he's turning back to his mark. So I don't think his rhythm is at its best. I don't think mentally he's feeling as confident as he could. He burst onto the scenes for South Africa and was brilliant. But he struggled a little bit since. So they'll hopefully be working on that, trying to get him.
He got a wicket, didn't he?
Yeah, he got the left hand.
Oh, Ishan Kishan.
Yeah, he got Ishan.
But you could also tell by the celebration as well. It was very muted.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it was almost a relief a little bit. So that kind of gives an indication as well of how the bowler is feeling.
I think he was thinking dot ball more than wicket. Dot ball. But on the other hand, Bhuvi has carried on his form. Look at Bhuvi. When you see Bhuvi on that scorecard, you're like, geez, man. I mean, he's bowled his 4 overs for 22. He's bowled 17 dot balls.
And his second last ball disappeared. Sky hit him back over his head for 6. So
Yeah, so you take that away.
could have even been better. But 17 and 12, I mean, the two of those guys, that's basically 30 dot balls between the two of them. You know, in a T20 match, that's pretty impressive. Yes, it was a surface that gave it a little bit of assistance, but you've got to appreciate that they hit the right areas and were consistent.
Yeah, that's so it's quite interesting, Lisa, what has happened. Because Hyderabad started their tournament with their batting just blowing everyone out of the water, and their bowling being a concern because they would score 270 but give away 250. They'd score, 280 and give away 260. But now it's just completely shifted. The last few games, their bowlers are, getting their name up, written in the stars, and their batters are kind of letting them down.
What that tells me is that their batters like flat tracks. Bowlers want a little bit of help. Oh, shock horror.
But if we can just bring that graphic up, the one was the breakdown of the runs scored, the power play, then 7 to 10.
Yeah, innings progression. You see the rocket, the hockey stick curve.
Yeah, but what you'll see too is this. So when Mumbai batted, they got 32 in those 4 overs. And I think that was the crucial period because it felt like there was another wicket that was going to fall. Out of that 32, Jansen went for 22 in his over.
Yeah.
So basically in the other 3 overs in and around, they only went for 10. And you could feel them kind of just squeezing. And maybe if they picked up a wicket at that stage, broken that partnership, it would have been a different kettle of fish. But there you can see 3 wickets in the first 6, nothing to fall after that. So that was why that over in particular, with Jansen not feeling confident, it's another attribute that you throw into Scar's repertoire, is that you get an understanding for when someone's struggling. You get an understanding for when you can take someone down.
Yeah.
And he would have seen Jansen and thought, he struggled in his first over, I reckon I've got him
Here's
there.
our chance.
And he took all the pressure away and just allowed that little pressure that was building to not be an issue, and they could just pace the rest of the innings through. So that was a vital little cog there.
Yeah, he's just he owns this format. like this format. This is Sky's format. This is, you check his passport, this is his address, T20 cricket. He lives here.
Yeah, the great thing about this competition, I reckon you've got the top three. You've got Sky, Klaasen and Nicky P. You know, three players I think that are so versatile, whether they're setting or chasing. They all seem to be in that middle to late order. They can finish off innings. And we're very lucky that we get to see them on good surfaces, small outfields, small boundaries, and it's captivating to watch them.
I'll just throw in there, I'm a bit concerned when we get to that World Cup.
Yes.
I was looking at some of the fixtures today. We have to try and sort flights and things out. Can you imagine one of these teams, the West Indies or India or something, coming up against Uganda on a flat wicket with a small outfield? If we think 270s and 260s and 280s are big, I think we could see our first 300 and we could see our first 200 individually. I'm telling you, watch this space, just putting it out there.
We can see a double 100 in the World Cup, is what Shaun Pollock says. That's the headline tomorrow. It's already been printed.
Go for it. I'm willing to back it up.
There are people with hats and pencils behind who are typing. Which year am I talking about? Hat, pencil, typewriter. In the 1940s, you see, when I used to work in the newspaper business. That's how we did it back then. All right. Our carrier room air conditioner's coolest moment of the match. The Mumbai fans, of course, are feeling very cool today. What did Lisa and Shaun think were the cool moments today? Your pick, Lisa. We start with you.
Just trying to think. Sky's trademark shot, just to come in and get it away and get it on the second tier. I think it's always good when he gets that type of shot away early. You know you're in for a good show. Maybe the bowlers know they're going to be in for a lot of pain, but I think that's a tell of Sky being switched on for that game.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the coolest moment for him is the last shot. So he takes them to victory. He goes to the three-figure score, which he deserved, and ends up with 100. We saw it the other day. Was it Will Jacks? Also, last delivery, he ends up going to 100. When they've played that well, they deserve 100. So to hit the winning runs, I think that was the coolest moment for me.
Excellent. A 6-set Wankade to finish a game. That's always going to be cool, isn't it? It's lovely. We've got a few tweets that have come in as well. Let's read them. What you thought were the cool moments. There you go. The Supla shot, Suryakumar Yadav Supla shot of Marco Jansen. There you go. Harsh Jain agrees with you. Lisa. And then Pat Cummins taking the huge wicket of Rohit and making the over a wicket maiden is my coolest moment from Anvita Sharma. Love that as well. We spoke about that. That's great. And we have another one. This one is from Shaji James. Oh, he's written a letter. All right. The delivery from Hardik Pandya that dislodged the bails of Marco Jansen is the carrier coolest moment of the match. Setting aside everything else that has happened, his regained confidence and return to form would mean a lot to every Indian fan. Shaji James. Absolutely correct, Shaji. And we spoke about this before the game as well. And just the confidence. Now, we just need a few more runs from his bat, right? And just him showing that kind of engine room of MI 1.0 when he was there, Polly. He didn't do that as much with GT because his role was a little different. He was batting at number 4. He was kind of shepherding the chase. But that brute force in finishing that he was doing with MI in his first stint, we see a few more of those to add to these bowling efforts. And yeah, we'd be golden.
I mean, the bowling-wise, he only picked up 3 wickets for GT last year in that campaign. So
done that today.
Yeah, so he's done brilliantly with the ball. I mean, I've really been impressed, and he's prepared. He can use the new ball. He's shown his versatility, and that part I'm not too concerned about. Because what part will he have to play with the ball? We're not too sure whether it'll be massive. But I think Indian fans, in all honesty, they would be thinking, let's try and see him crashing the ball to all parts. Those striking he used to do when he was Pollard in and around him.
Yeah.
And the swagger that he walked with and the real confidence. But like what Scar's got going at the moment, you know.
Yeah.
I think that's what you need to see more of. And in 2 more games, hopefully there's an opportunity to show that he's still got that hitting ability at the back end.
All right, that would be pretty cool if that can happen. But today we shall all bask in the coolth of Suryakumar Yadav, that inning, some of those shots. Pat Cummins' wicket maiden in a power play. That was pretty cool. So lots of cool moments from the Wankhede Stadium today. So those were our Carrier room air conditioners coolest moment of the match. All right, we'll show you the points table now and tell you why this win means a lot for Mumbai, because they are not at the last spot anymore. And look at that. What's going on there? Well, they have got a game in hand, GT, so they can crawl back up and they can, go over Mumbai and Punjab and Bangalore. But at this point in time, Mumbai has come into 9th position, so there's a small win over there. But I'll tell you what's more important is that Hyderabad not winning this match makes that traffic jam, the middle muddle, as I like to call it there. Chennai, Hyderabad, Lucknow. All three of them, 6 wins, 5 losses. Hyderabad will rue today's loss even more than Mumbai will celebrate the win.
Yeah, absolutely agree. And when you think of almost what's left for them, and you start to look at, who's Chennai playing? You start to look elsewhere, not necessarily yourself, and that's never a good sign. So I think they would have ideally loved to have been able to get the 2 points. I think they go back home next game. So, they'll want to make sure now that they can switch on back home, but ideally they would have been planning 2 points here. Great. We're securing ourselves in that top 4, potentially even pushing us to the top 2.
So it's very interesting that you say that, because they play day after tomorrow. So they play pretty quickly and they play at home. So they travel from Mumbai to Hyderabad.
Wow.
And then they have 3 games at home. So that may be a good thing.
Yeah.
But look at the people they're playing. So the first game is against Lucknow, the people that they're log jammed with. So there you go. You got a clear runner for the 4th, in that spot. So that's their game. Then I think they play against GT, and that's happening. Then they have a bit of a break. So they only play on the 16th. So they have a good week off, right? So it's not good. Enough time to get a little cold. And then they play against them on the 16th. And then the last game is against Punjab on the 19th. So, luck of the draw, the way Gujarat and Punjab are playing right now, Paulie, Hyderabad won't mind them as their last 2 games.
Yeah, so if you pull up the table again, I think the key is going to be the next game, isn't it? I mean, they play Lucknow. You talked about that logjam of 12 points. So once you win that, you all of a sudden spring to 14. And then you can you've got time to settle things down, get everyone fit, get everyone raring to go, and going for one last burst. But I think that key encounter where you obviously take out points against people who've got the potential to qualify. And then just understand there, Mumbai, now it's from 0.5%, there's a 1.5% chance of them qualifying.
Jeez, it's tripled.
Yeah, it's gone through the
3x kind of day.
Yeah, it's got extra little
big.
bit. Because they've obviously got to get to 12.
Yeah.
And then that's why that other game becomes important. So whoever wins that one.
I see.
We just want to keep them interested.
I see what you're trying to do.
We've got 6 cameramen here that are very much focused on Mumbai, and they might not come to work if we tell them the game's done and dusted.
There's all the smiles as well.
Yeah, you made them so happy, man. Yeah, hopes they're dope, man. Hopes they're dope, and they are hooked. We'll give them to them all the time. Bring back the points table, and I'll show you something interesting there as well, right? Because now we're not counting Delhi, but Delhi's playing Rajasthan tomorrow, right? Can happen. Any team can beat anyone. Delhi is looking good. Now let's say Delhi wins tomorrow. They come to 12 of 12 games. Then Hyderabad and Lucknow day after. One of them gets left behind, tied with Delhi after 12 games. So that could be interesting. I mean, for that, of course, Delhi has to beat Rajasthan tomorrow. But listen, the way Delhi is playing, I'm not counting that out completely, because they've had a bit of a resurgence, haven't they, Lisa?
Yeah, they have. They've had about a week off as well before their next game. So everyone kind of scattered home. A couple went to Dubai. So fresh, raring to go and carry on where they left off almost. That's what Ponting and the rest of the coaching staff will be hoping for.
Yeah.
But just looking at the net run rate, Hyderabad's net run rate is still superior than the other 2 that are just below them. So, now we're going to start, as we get closer to the end, we start to look even closer at that net run rate and how big the wins and losses potentially are as well.
Yeah, this one will hurt them, because today their net run rate has suffered a little, because you lose with 3 overs to spare. So obviously it's got affected a little bit today. But for tomorrow's game, for them to even be stuck in that, it depends on Delhi then beating Rajasthan, if they can do it tomorrow. That's tough, because Rajasthan has been playing some amazing cricket. They had that loss a few days ago by just 1 run. How difficult is it? And we were talking about it the other day, Polly, as well. Sometimes these 1-run last ball losses are tougher to get over than a 25-run loss.
Yeah, they are. But because of the situation they're in, it's like, okay, well, we can deal with the little blips. I think the key for them is actually to get some really close encounters because it looks like they qualified almost already.
Yeah.
So the more tough games they get in as they head towards the back end of the tournament is better preparation for them and what they want. But I think they'll be a little bit disappointed that they were, I mean, if you require 6 off the last, you don't do it, or 4 off the last, you don't do it. But basically just 1 to get a super over and 2 to get over the line and you get a full toss. It will have left a bit of an ugly taste in the mouth.
Yeah, they've been on the receiving end of these last ball 1-run things a few times, right? But they shake it off, and tomorrow they, of course, will be incentivized to win because they've had that top spot for 5 weeks now, and then you lose that top spot even for 2-3 days. It just makes you a little, and you want the top 2. So they'll want to win and say, all right, just let's put a little breathing room between us and that middle muddle.
Yeah, I think it almost goes down to a bit of pride as well, that out of all of these games, after the league stages, playing in so many different places, we've come out on top.
Yeah.
Before we get into finals, and before you get 2 bites of the cherry, all of that type of stuff. There is something very proud about, hey, we've finished past the post first, right?
Yeah.
Now it's the business end. Now it's almost an even playing field. Doesn't matter where you finish to a certain degree because it comes down to eliminators, right? But there is something about this side that they're just not happy with mediocre performances or losing every now and again. And even some of the 2 post-match presentations that Sanju has had to do after he's lost, he's like, well, I don't know how to tell you that. We just literally lost off the last ball. How do I dissect that game? So it's quite interesting, his take on it. So I think he's the type of guy that feels the losses.
Yeah.
So I think that week, I think it's important for them that they've got these 2 games. They've got Delhi and Chennai, and then they go to Guwahati, who, for their home games is something completely different as well, because they were so good at it back at Jaipur.
Yeah.
That they've changed their home ground. So this game and the next game are really important for them.
Which game was the other game they lost? I'm trying to remember it.
They lost to GT.
Yeah.
Badly or?
By 3 wickets.
Off the last ball.
That was the one which Rahul Tewatia and Rashid Khan won for them again of the last ball.
Yes,
if you remember the last over, they had 1 fielder in.
Yeah.
And Rashid kind of hit the first ball square leg where there was a hole where there would have been a fielder, and then won it for them in the last.
Yeah, so
ball.
I mean, if you look at their performance, they've had 10 games, they've lost 2, and both of them with the last ball.
Correct.
So they haven't had a rank bad game at any stage. They've been really
maybe
good.
they're thinking like that. Maybe they're like, oh, if we're all supposed to have, because we Indians think that way, right?
Okay.
Was this after the World Cup?
You
must have a bad one.
Okay.
And that just proved it right. What World Cup? I have no idea what you're talking about. But yeah, if you want to have a bad day, have it now and get it out of the way. But if you look at the team, I think for Delhi, I think the one question is, well, there is no question that Jake Fraser-McGurk and Tristan Stubbs both play. Now the question is, David Warner or Shea Hope?
Yeah, well, I think this is where you wonder where Ricky Ponting's head is.
Yeah.
Do you get David Warner in and get him ready to go for the World Cup?
Yeah. Can you take your Australian cap off, please?
I'm just putting it out there, right? But he has said that he wasn't dropped, obviously injured.
Yeah.
And that they're waiting for him to regain fitness and be 100% fully fit to play. So I would imagine a week off, he's probably fit to play. So I would imagine Warner to play.
Okay. So in place of Shea Hope?
Yeah, I don't think Shea Hope hasn't really set the world alight, has he?
Yeah, but the previous one, he did a 40,
He did
I think,
40 off
200.
20.
Yeah. So,
but Warner can do that. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they go back to Warner, I must admit. I think he's also, if he's been in Dubai hanging around with Jake Fraser Berserk, then they'll be feeling good vibes.
Yeah.
So they'll be. I think they'll get him back. I honestly do. I think the senior can play. I think he'll
okay,
put him
good point. With their bowling, I guess, they're probably looking at the same bowling. I don't see too many changes happening with them. There was
I'm surprised Lazard Williams. I mean, I'm not surprised. I mean, I've seen a lot good from him. But would they be maybe interested in going back to Nokia? Or do you think
that
they carry
would be
on?
a change.
That could be a possible change. I mean, Lazard hasn't let himself down. It's not like he's been shown to be out of his depth or anything like that. But you just get that feeling that Nokia's maybe got that little bit more X factor. You know, where
Oh, so who's wearing what cap?
they're both from South Africa. So what difference does it make?
Well, that's my point. I'm talking about the Aussies. You're talking about
But I'm
South
saying one
Africa.
might be dropped and one might be replaced. It's you trying to kick a West Indian out. It's
Yeah, actually, good point. Okay, carry on.
Who is not in the T20 team anyway. So that's fine.
Lazard's not.
Yeah.
Shea Hope is not in the T20 team. Okay, let's have a look at the Rajasthan team. The Rajasthan team will make no changes. Let's move on. Okay, no, let's show it to you. Yeah, there you go. They're not there. Their bowling unit is tight. They've got Avesh, Sandeep, Trent Bolt. Then they've got the spinners in Ashwin and Chahal. The batters have all done the job. They've all, different batters picked up their hand in a different game. And that's what you love. It's just, Lisa, it's just looking settled. It's looking set. It's looking cruising. They, as Polly just pointed out, they've not had a bad day.
No, you're right. The only headache is that Joss Butler has to leave.
Yeah.
So when do they bring Tom Collar-Cadmore in? Or are they literally, as soon as Butler's not available, they bring him in? That's a big ask.
I think they'll do it as soon as they're guaranteed of qualification at 1 or 2.
Really? Okay.
I think it would make sense, and I think it's good about building relationships, and it might not sound what the fans want to know or hear, is but if they do get to a stage where they're in 1 and 2, makes sense if the English guys are going home, and also it makes sense from a relationship perspective with Butler. You know, he's got a lot of cricket coming up, so you just say to him, thank you, buddy, you've done your job, you've got us into the top 2. We really appreciate it. We're going to just give you a few more days at home before you head across to America and the Caribbean, because
They've
it gives
got a series against Pakistan.
Have they?
Yeah.
So,
England.
So even then, even a little bit more.
And it's a great point because the Royals have a long relationship,
They
and
do.
an international relationship with him, right? So
That's one thing I think Rajasthan do very well. It's like a family. That
Yeah.
They try and build strong relationships, long-lasting relationships with their players. And Joss Butler, like you said, is part of that. You see him pop up in pink everywhere around the world. But that's a good point. It's almost saying thanks very much for your hard work. You know,
It's
here's
like a
your
bonus,
early
yeah.
mark.
Yeah, like a bonus, half fives. Cadmore, get him in because he needs as much time as
Yeah.
well. We've seen how guys who sit on the side sometimes battle to adjust. So if you want to go on and make sure you win the tournament, I hear there's negotiations that maybe some of the English guys, they're trying to get them not to go.
peek behind the curtain, as I told you. Have a look-see. That's right. There are some talks.
Yeah.
But
if it's not the case, then I would.
we don't know what will happen. But that's a great point. Maybe just give him a few extra days. He does. I completely agree with you about the family bit. I spent some time with him yesterday at an absolutely bizarre, haphazard event, but still spent time with him. 2 things struck me. First is that for a gentle guy, he's got giant hands. Have you ever shook hands with him? I felt like, and I've got a reasonably big hand, I felt like he had enveloped my hand.
He engulfed it, didn't
He
he?
engulfed it. He's got really big hands. And second, this thing that just feels like family. And I love the relationship he has with Yashasvi Jaiswal. I love that. That's one of my key points of the IPL. In fact, I've got one picture from one rain delay where they both are talking animatedly in the dressing room, and they just kept focusing the camera on that. And you can just tell with Yash calling him Joss Bhai, and it's all of that. So all of that is great. So, and we're talking about these things because we've spoken about it with GT the last couple of years, where we talk about Mahol, we talk about the atmosphere, we talk about it being a family unit, best friends hanging out together, and that makes so much of a difference. And year after year, you keep seeing that displayed when it is, and it's a positive, and when it's not, and it's so evident. So yeah, so that's the story of Rajasthan. Will we see Can we just call him TCS? Can we just call TCK? Don't call it TCK. TCK and
TKC, actually.
TKC and JFM for Delhi. Fraser Berserk.
Berserk, yeah.
Yes, JFM. So yeah, it's a long name. I am Indian, sir. Very difficult for me, sir. These tongue twisters, sir. Please excuse. Okay, so player to watch out for from each team.
Okay.
I'm going to go for Ashwin.
Ash, good choice.
He's,
the professor.
He's been struggling. You know, he hasn't picked up as many wickets as he would like. So if they're going to win the tournament, he has to play his role with the ball.
Mm-hmm. From the other team?
Other team, Warner.
So you've picked him, have you?
I picked him.
Okay,
He's picked him and given him player of the match. Done.
Sandeep Sharma, I think he's been great. I've really enjoyed watching him. And, you sometimes think, guys with lesser pace, can they still do the job? He's shining. He's going great. So I want to see how he gets on again tomorrow. And Fraser Berserk, I want to see how he gets on. I haven't seen much of him live. I've caught a couple of games. But I want to see what he can do tomorrow.
Excellent. Good choices. Good choices there. It's going to be a good game tomorrow. We're going to be here, of course, at 7 o'clock to cover that. So do join us then. Right now, we have to show you the joy factor question. And the answer, the question is, which cricketer who has taken over 100 wickets in this league was part of the Bangalore team for 2 years without playing a single game? The answer is, he did well today as well.
Yeah.
It's Bowie. It's Bhuvneshwar Kumar in 2009 and 10. So that was back then. Who's the first person who swung in the right answer? Is Sidwin, RCB fan 01.
So he was there in the first edition. Yeah. That's why he knows.
That's why he knows. He was also benched in the first edition, so he knows who was benched in 2 and 3. So well done. And as far as the guessing game is concerned, well, Lisa got a bullseye today, so well done, mate. Good job.
Thanks. Thank you. I just want to see, am I above Harsha?
That's
all I want.
Let's have a look. Oh, just a smidge. Oh,
damn it.
Just a little bit. But you've got a bullseye, so that's worth 5 points. So that takes you to 20.
Oh, thanks.
And
we just changed the rules, have we?
I just have right now, for you.
Thank you.
Right? So you're right above Harsha now and tied with Joy. All right? What have I come down to today? Ooh, but this Manoj Tiwari sitting at home and winning every day is not working out for me. When's he back here? Bring him.
But they have said that they're introducing something at the back end that if you haven't got a bullseye, you can't win.
That's fair enough.
I mean, it makes sense.
Makes it. So, can we have a look at that?
So
graphic
what, I need to get a
again?
bullseye now? Is that what you're saying?
Can we have a look at the graphic?
Is that what you're saying? That winning...
Like, how many times have you played this game and not got a bullseye?
That's a good one. 68. So that's just... you see top of the table... I just see 68 failures, man. That's what.
You do not see 68 failures.
I see 68 failures, and it helps me do better. Look at my face; it's serious, right? Because
how's that you?
It's like the other one on Twitter in that. He's like 10 in that photo.
I was when I started this IPL. I was 10. It's a very long tournament. It's getting longer and longer.
You can see how I'm deflecting because I'm just trying to go away from me and Pommy sitting on North there.
It's okay. It's okay.
Deflect.
You, at least you won't get anything wrong tomorrow.
I'm not going backwards at this stage.
Yeah.
I'm staying put.
Hopefully when you come back day after, you'll get one right.
Come on,
we're willing for you to. Today you had it. If Tilak had not gone all test cricket on you on the last ball of the power play.
Please, it's a sensitive subject. Don't mention it.
The wound is fresh. Don't put salt on it. It's fresh, this wound. All right. Apparently, I have to get a bullseye. So all I will say is challenge accepted. Come back tomorrow and see how that pans out. 7 o'clock on Cricbuzz Live. I want to thank Lisa and Shaun. Thank you so much for being here today. Shaun will enjoy a day off tomorrow. And Lisa will be here with me tomorrow. We'll have Pommy joining us. So, do join us at 7 p.m. right here for the Delhi-Rajasthan game. I'm Gaurav Kapur. You were watching Cricbuzz Live. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.
Jaipur via Kota.
कृपया ध्यान आपको अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವ ರೈಲು
Hyderabad 50 एक्सप्रेस পরবর্তী স্টেশন নেতাজি ভবন कृपया ध्यान दें